All right, so today I'm going to be going over your guys' Instagram theme pages. Last week I put up an Instagram story asking you guys to drop the username of your theme pages below to get the chance to have them reviewed in depth by me for free. And now I've got a list of 6 pages to go through. Almost a couple hundred of you guys dropped the names of your theme page. So, I'd love to go through more, but I wanted to keep this video short and sweet and really get to the point. And who knows, maybe I'll do another one of these in the future. So if you're currently running a theme page or thinking about starting one, this is your chance to see exactly what you should and shouldn't be doing to grow your page, get more engagement, and eventually start making money from it. And chances are your theme page isn't going to be reviewed today, but still pay close attention because I guarantee a lot of the feedback that I'm going to be giving will apply to you as well. And for those who may not know me yet, my name is Pasha. I've been growing, monetizing, and automating Instagram theme pages for the past few years now. Here's my personal brand on Instagram. You guys can take a look at it if you want. I post some pretty valuable stuff on here. And then here are also a couple of my theme pages. And I've also helped around 100 people around the world grow their pages to tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers while turning them into a full-time income stream. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight into these reviews. All right, so we've got the first page on the screen here. And just to sort of summarize how these reviews are going to work, as I'm reviewing the page live, I'll sort of be vocalizing my thoughts and like my initial impressions that I think about when looking at these pages, because at the end of the day, I've been doing this for a long time now. I've seen thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of different theme pages. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know what looks clean. I know what doesn't. And that way, because of that, I'm able to sort of like really quickly sort of spot out the specific adjustments and changes that could be made to improve the page, right? So I'll be vocalizing my thoughts as I'm going through it. And then also, I'll be looking at sort of the branding and the actual content most specifically. Those are going to be the two most important things. The content is going to drive the views and sort of get in front of the audience. And the branding is going to be what actually converts those viewers into followers, right? So those are the two most important metrics. And then at the end, when I'm done with reviewing the page, I'm just going to give a quick summary of like the key takeaways of what this guy can do to improve. Okay, so first up we got this guy evenstronger.ltd, and in terms of like the initial impressions of the page, first off, the logo is something I would change. There's too much going on. It's a half rectangle, half circle. That's also a clock. That also has a heart in it, and also has text running through it that isn't like a fancy font, right? So there's too much going on. For the logo, you want to keep it, sleek, simplistic, minimalistic, and clean. Just do some research, see the biggest pages sort of in the niche, what they look like, and then sort of get some inspiration from that and create your own unique spin-off of the logo, right? Second, the highlight covers here. The text is already below here, so you don't need to have the text in the actual highlight cover itself. Plus, the text is like in a fancy font, and it's small, so you can't even really read it. So I would just make this an icon that has something to do with the text. So this could be a note. This could be like a few different icons of people, and mentality could be like a brain or something like that, right? Just different icons that relate to the text. And then also for the bio, so the SEO name is fine. This is good. This is supposed to be sort of more general. But for the bio, it's too general. Widen your views, elevate your life, be inspired, and stay consistent. It's too general. You want something that's more specific and really explains what your page is all about and what the person can expect if they were to follow your page. And the more specific, the more sort of aligned you could get it with your branding, the better. So even stronger, you could find a way to integrate that within the bio, whether it's like the CTA, you want to have a CTA at the bottom saying like, follow for daily content to become even stronger. It's just something that integrates the username into the bio. I think that's a clean way to do it. So that is mostly what I would say for the actual surface level branding, right, of the profile. And now we could dive into the actual content.
To be a hustler, but people put too much value on money sometimes, and you miss out on a lot of other shit.
Okay, so this is a good clip. The quality looks pretty nice, but some adjustments I would make is first, you want to make sure that the text is centered in the screen, and if not exactly centered, right below the chin of the speaker, right? Because when it's all the way down here, you're making the viewer choose between looking at the lips versus looking at pause, or versus looking at the text, right? But if you have them in the middle or right next to each other, they could look at both at the same time, all right? And second, the watermark here is, I see it says even stronger, but it has a completely different branding than the profile picture. And it also has a black background and there's too much going on. So you want to make sure that the logo is the same as the watermark, plus the watermark could be in this area here, but the text should be in the middle. And also you want to make sure that the text is one line rather than two lines. So you can see this goes to two lines. This is how it should be. It should all be one line, right? That's just the most clean way to do it. Plus, I would sort of change the font or the way the caption looks just to make it look more clean, more aesthetic. Maybe remove the black background or outline. Also change the font to make it something that's more sort of like bold or more unique looking. This is kind of just like basic text. But in terms of the clip choice, it's good. And in terms of the quality of the clip, it's good. And the background music seems pretty good. It's just the little details like the text and the watermark, which I would change.
Life chasing. It's important to have a...
Yeah. And then
sometimes you have to realize, like, yo, this is it.
This is a completely different
It's
style.
happening now, you know?
So this has the black up here, and it's like a black and white filter, and the text, it looks a lot better. And the watermark, even stronger, looks a lot better.
Besides the longevity of this whole thing.
So for example, this is a lot better style of content. So what this guy should do is, instead of like doing multiple different styles, like this is different, this is not black and white, this has different, text placement, no watermark, this is different. I would just make them like all like this. Or find a content style that is the most clean and stick with one style. You don't want to switch it up, because now this looks like two different brands.
I think it's important. Sometimes you have
it's like two different, it looks like two different pages posted that, but it's the same page. So that's also important to think about. Make sure the content is aligned and consistent with each other, okay? And also, overall, there's just too many different content styles going on. This is like a luxury lifestyle type of, reel.
Last night that I would die for it.
With just like a compilation of clips and an edit. This is a different type of content style with like, the text above and the
You feel like you hate it.
And this is different, has the rounded corners, and there's just way too many different content styles going on at the same time. So what this guy needs to do is pick one content style that works best and stick with it. And also what I noticed is that
I wish my bro was...
This guy's highest performing video is about a rapper, and it's a freestyle. So this is where most of his followers came from. He has almost 1,000 followers. I guarantee like 3/4 came from this video. So that means now most of his followers are going to be interested in probably rappers, or Lil TJ, for example. So it's good that he's posting some rappers, 21 Savage, Drake, but he's also posting like, Ronaldo and, luxury lifestyle stuff and, other people who don't have anything to do with rappers, right? So what this guy should do is double down on the rappers niche, right? Whether it's, he could try posting more freestyles, see if that does well and gets lots of views and converts followers. But where there's the most potential is posting these types of videos.
Sometimes you have to realize, like, yo, this is it.
Where it's like a rapper in a podcast or interview with the text coming on the screen with maybe some overlays. That's where I see the most potential with this. So that is really the biggest changes that this guy should make. So firstly is just the overall branding. Make sure that the logo looks more clean. He changes the highlight covers, makes the bio more specific. Second, in terms of the actual content itself, he needs to pick one specific content style and sort of go with that rather than having way too many content styles going at the same time. And then also doubling down on the rapper niche, posting more freestyles, or also posting more rappers like clips like this, right? So this is the biggest changes that this guy should make. So now I'll move on to the next page. All right, so next up we have this page called theselfreach. And in terms of initial impressions on this page, this is better. The logo is nice. It has to do with the username, reach, which is like getting to new heights. This is a peak, which, has to do with height. So it makes sense. And the highlight covers are better. It has text. It's more legible than the last page that we went over. So it's good. And in terms of the bio, I would just make it, again, a little bit more specific. Daily quotes. That's not going to be specific at all. Daily quotes about what? make sure the viewer knows what they'd be getting themselves into if they were to choose to follow your page. It's important. Also, this guy is already sort of, promoting exclusive content resources. He only has a couple hundred followers, so if I was him, I wouldn't focus on that yet. If anything, I'd have a CTA that has to do with follow the page for XYZ. That way he could convert more followers. And he doesn't really just have enough viewers or an audience yet to have any sort of benefits from providing resources or anything. So that's what I would suggest. And in terms of the content itself, it looks pretty decent. This is sort of the style of reels he's going with. So yeah, so in this case here, he had one that did really good, 310K followers, views. And the second highest performing one is also basketball. So what is working best for him so far is this sort of style where it's like, can I ask you something or can I ask you a question? And then having basketball players and this sort of two picture format. So that if I was him, that's what I would double down on a little bit more, because if, as you could see, he has boxing here, he has soccer, he has this other different sort of content looking style here. He has David Goggins. So if I were him, as soon as I saw this, this one doing well, I would look to recreate this as much as I could. So it looks like he tried a little bit here with Michael Jordan and Kobe after Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen did good the first time. So if I was him, I would do more like this, because these are his two highest performing ones so far. So I would stick with basketball. I would stick with this format, experiment with some different text, see how we can make it unique and creative and not repetitive. And that would be a good way to sort of see and get a better gauge on what works and what doesn't. Because again, right now it's there's too much going on. There's soccer players, there's basketball players, there's boxing, there's David Goggins. There's too many different things going on at once and too many different styles of content. So I would stick with this style, post more, reflect back a couple weeks later, sort of see how they did, finding more patterns of what's working and what's not working, and then continuing to double down from there. So the main changes that I would make to this page is making the bio more specific, and also doubling down on the content more on what's already working. So that's it for this page. We're on to the next one. All right, next up we have this page called moti.vium 00. And in terms of initial impressions on sort of just the brand, it looks clean. I like the logo. This is what I mean by clean, aesthetic, simple, minimalistic. This is what I mean also when I said icon alongside of the keyword here. And the reel covers, look clean. If you were to click on this page and you see all this, you're like, okay, this professional looking, well-branded page. I like it. So something I would change though is, again, making the bio more specific, motivation for champions, follow to get better every day. That's way too broad. That's way too general. It's not specific enough, and you're not targeting a specific viewer. You're not giving anyone a reason to want to follow your page, right? So I'd make that more specific. And in terms of the actual content itself, it looks like he made a change a little recently, but
Tony, I'm late. I just don't give a fuck. I'm the
Only thing I do when I come home is
so this is what I mean as well. It's having the text in the middle of the screen and also having the watermark here. So this is good format so far.
Just believe in yourself.
if you're doing good.
All right, so it looks like he's shifted from some more general content to posting more boxers. So that's good, because before what I would have said,
Let's see.
Your son would.
If you want
yeah, before what I would have said is this is way too general. He's just posting about all different types of things. Boxing, rappers, self-improvement people, soccer players, business people, authors. It would be way too all over the place, but now it looks like he's sort of sub-niche down into the boxing, which is good. And now pretty much what he needs to do is just stay consistent with boxing for 2 to 3 more weeks. See how it does. See if it's performing better than his average views. And then from there, he'll see whether boxing is good sub-niche to double down on, or whether he should sort of transition into something else that might work better. But something that I saw here.
You play? The whole world is in chess. Any move can be the death of you. Do anything.
So this might be, I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking at right now. This might be a movie clip or a show clip. But it looks like this performed the best so far from what I'm seeing. So in that case, it would be also worth experimenting with more clips and content that is similar to that, because clearly his viewers and Instagram, liked this reel here. So that's what I would have experimented with first before going into more boxing. But I am sure if he sticks with boxing, if he keeps posting high quality content, if he's actually choosing to repost viral reels that have went viral, recently rather than years ago, then he could also get some better results there. But overall, this is probably the most solid page that we've seen so far. And now he just needs to stay consistent and post quality content over quantity, so time. And I'm sure it'll work out eventually, unless the boxing doesn't work out, and then he has to sort of pivot, find another sub niche to attack in a different unique angle. So that's it for this page. We'll move to the next. All right, so now we have this page called Business Assassins. It's a bigger page relatively compared to the first ones that were around 1,000. So yeah, initial impressions on the branding looks pretty good. I like the sort of blue theme going on here, driving you towards greater achievements, DM us for business inquiries. Again, it's very general. I see he has the SEO words here. I would take these words, business, motivation, and mindset, and put it here. And then just leave this out, because this is already his username. He doesn't need it in the line here. And then, yeah, I'd make the bio a bit more specific. The logo is good. It just it doesn't really align. Like, it's Business Assassins, and then the icon is like a Spartan helmet. I guess that has to do with assassins, but the key word that would ring more of a bell for me is like business. And this helmet has nothing to do with business, really. But that's not the biggest problem here, I don't think. The icons are fine. I would choose a better one for these phones. Plus, growth and services have the same icon, which is kind of weird. So I would choose different icons for each of these, and also one that looks more like this rather than this. It kind of just looks not professional, not clean. So that's what I would say in terms of the branding, and then let's look at the content.
Comparison is the killer of all joy. You comparing your real life to other people's highlight reel, and comparison, that it just kill your joy. But when you're grateful.
All right, so it's a good clip. Here's just what I would say. So first up, this watermark was like moving on the screen at first.
And me ain't gonna lie, I'm petty
like this.
Like if you fucked a lot of.
This has no reason to be doing that. I can see how it's like a sort of unique touch, but there's no reason for it to do that. It just distracts the viewers, if anything.
Comparison is the
so just keep it like on the screen somewhere and don't have it moving around. Right?
killer of all joy.
Second, the text. I would change it. The text doesn't really match like the aesthetic of everything else. Like this is sort of black and white. It's about like serious topics. Professional looking people. So I would have like a more aesthetic, clean looking, minimalistic text rather than, this sort of animated looking font with the colors, right? I think that would just pair with the branding a lot more if it was just more black and white. If the text was white, no black background, and it didn't have any colors, that would look best in my opinion.
And me ain't gonna lie, I'm petty.
Yeah, now he has green too. So it looks like he's switching off between green, yellow, and red. No need for that. Yeah, like look at this text. This is horrible.
So you're telling me that a woman...
Yeah, you have no need. Sorry, I'm going to be completely transparent. There's no need to have any crazy looking text like that. It looks like this guy's in the sort of like rappers niche, which is good. He's niched down. He's not just posting general stuff, which we talked about was a problem earlier. But what he needs to do is find a better text style to go well and pair better with his content, right? Because he's managed to grow like decent sized with this sort of text already.
My loyalty don't have limitations.
Right, but with this sort of text, it's going to be sort of more rare and more uncommon to get like a viral video like this. I guarantee if he posted with a more better looking text style, he would have more numbers like this because, yeah, most of his followers are people who are interested in this type of content. He's seen that this is doing well. He's doubling down on it, which is good. I would just make sure the text looks better. And in terms of actual branding, like I said, more specific bio, but better icons for this, and maybe think about transitioning the logo into something that aligns a bit more with your brand. But aside from that, as long as this guy is using clips of these guys who have went viral recently, rather than ones that had went viral, a few weeks or a few months back, then that's going to be ideal because that's how we can more predictably go viral more often because he's working off of what's already proven to work, right? No need to reinvent the wheel. So that is what I would say for this page. All right, so we got the next one up here, Prosper Perspectives. So the logo it's nice. I would say it's unique. It looks pretty clean, minimalistic, simplistic, no complaints. In terms of this here, so this is his SEO name, it looks like. I would just choose a different font here. This is just, it's too fancy. It kind of looks a bit odd. It looks like female, like sort of cursive, scribbly. So there's no need for that. And then again, like this bio is just not going to cut it. Learn to change your perspective. It's a little bit more specific, which is good because it has to do with his brand. And it also is like, not just like, follow for motivational content. It's something about changing your perspective, which is good. It's more specific. And it has to do with the brand, but I would just make it a little bit more than just one line. You know what I mean? Also, you could add a CTA for like following the page, follow to improve your perspective or something like that, right? And then you could have another line. Aside from that, growth, that's fine to have a highlight, but I would just make this a black background with like a white icon of a graph. It just would look cleaner rather than this white and blue stuff. And then in terms of the actual content itself,
What's your biggest red flag?
Probably when a girl has her.
Have you never been around somebody who's
Did you lose good friends on
I'm in a space where I just want peace.
Some talk bad about you.
yes?
yeah, too many content styles going on at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, which is a problem. Here he has like Iman Gaji, Luke Belmar, so these are like gurus, and then this looks like
I'm in a space where I just
a rapper potentially. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It might be profiling, but it's all right. And then also like soccer player. This is like animated cartoon. This is like a kid talking. Andrew Tate, boxer. So it's just way too broad. It's way too broad. He has way too many different things going on at the same time, like gurus, rapper, soccer player, animations, general kid motivation, boxing, Andrew Tate. Like there's 7 different categories going on at the same time. That's just not going to cut it. So it needs to be more specific. If I was him, I would just analyze all the content that he's posted, all 122 posts so far, see which has the highest views, which has the most engagement, see if there's any patterns amongst it. Like, for example, maybe his reels about rappers or his reels about sports athletes have performed best, and that's an indicator that that's sort of what he should focus more on and double down on in the future, right? So yeah, if I was him, I'd analyze the content, see what's performing best, and double down on it, and that would allow him to have like a more specific niched content strategy and approach rather than all this general stuff. And the same with the content style.
Have you never been around?
I'm in
Yeah, you gotta let.
So he's using the trending sort of style right now, which is like having these rounded corners. So that's fine. The most important thing is just figuring out like what sub niche to double down on and to fully attack for a unique angle with this page. So yeah, like I said, he'll find that by reviewing his most viral reels and seeing what has done best. So aside from that and what I said about the branding, those are just going to be the biggest changes here. So now we have one more page, so let's get into it. All right, so this is the last page here, Bo's Man. So here is what I'll say. So the logo is fine. It's very simple, Bo's Man. Simple text. Sometimes it could be as simple as this, guys, right? Just looks clean. This is fine. He has a icon here sort of showing his journey, his growth, I'm sure. And then something that stands out to me as not ideal though is this username. So it's Bo's _ and then man with 3 N's. So this just looks a bit unprofessional and tacky, rather than just having like one clean username or letters. So if I was him, I'd honestly find a new username, something that's more unique and something where he doesn't have to have an underscore and multiple replications of the same letter. Just it looks more clean, looks more aesthetic, looks more professional, and that's important. But the bio here is actually the best one I think we've seen so far. Helping you manifest your dream life, join the 1% of achievers, grow your page here. The only thing that I would change is instead of grow your page here, I would say a CTA for following, because he has a couple thousand followers. It's not bad, but it's a little early to begin sort of promoting other stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what he's selling. Looks like a, let's see. Yeah, theme page growth, ebook, and some filters for his content. So it would be fine to have the filters there, but I wouldn't have the CTA in your bio grow your page here. I would have it something more to do with following. And once he got to like 5 to 10K followers, then it would make more sense to dial in on like promoting and advertising his offers, right? But in terms of the branding, that's what I would say. So the branding is fine. The username is the only thing that is like an issue. So I would actually suggest him finding a better username just for long-term, growth and sustainability. And in terms of the content, just off the bat, I could tell that this sort of luxury content, it's not what's been performing best in this market recently. It's something that was more of a trend like around a year ago. A ton of pages were blowing up with this type of content, but nowadays it got saturated really quickly because it's easy to find these clips online, and all you do is just like throw some into an edit and put some text on it. It's very easy to do. A lot of people were able to create this type of content, which is why it got sort of, saturated really quickly, and there was too many people doing it, right? So now it's harder to grow. And because of that, I just wouldn't even suggest getting into this sort of like luxury niche to begin with. But if he were to, continue in the luxury path, what he could do is like niche down to something that's a little bit more specific. So instead of like just general luxury, like, supercars and, sunsets or whatever, he could try and do something that's more specific. Like, the old money niche. I talk about this in some of my videos, but for example, there's a page called, let's pull it up here. Fuck, man, what's it called? This page, right? So this is like still sort of like luxury lifestyle type, but it's more old money. So, geez, how is that allowed on Instagram? That's crazy. So yeah, this is more old money. It's like a more specific type of like luxury sort of aesthetic, and it's a bit more specific. It attracts a higher quality audience, whereas this, it's so general. There's so many people doing it, and it attracts like 14-year-old Escape the Matrix kids, which isn't a valuable audience to have, to be honest. So yeah, I would try and pivot the niche into something that's more specific, like the one I was showing you here. And then aside from that, the username is the biggest thing that I would change. So yeah, those are the biggest takeaways and adjustments that I would make with this page here. And that is the last one that we will be reviewing today. All right, so these are the key takeaways that I want you guys to keep in mind. These are like really important. They might seem sort of like, obvious and cliche, but it's things that people overlook, as we saw, through reviewing these 6 pages. So first up, make sure that the branding is on point. Make sure that your username, your bio, your logo, and like your highlight covers and everything just like looks clean. It looks aligned. It looks like a professional brand, right? And that is, like I said, going to allow your viewers who see your content feel like converting into a follower, right? Because that's going to be the biggest distinguishing factor between pages on Instagram that grow and do really well and make a lot of money versus pages that can't grow and don't do well and don't make any money, is how well branded and professional your page looks. You could be posting the same exact content as someone else and have it be really, really high quality, but if this person has a better looking brand and looks more professional than you do, then they're going to crush you, okay? It's that simple. Second, make sure that your content style looks clean. So as we were going over the content, making sure that the font looks nice, that it's placed in the right location, that the watermark is not like, moving around the screen and it just, is settled somewhere on the screen and looks nice. And that, the font looks clean. There's no like random colors jumping around. Just make sure it looks clean. Make sure it's aligned with the actual content that you're posting. And that is going to be optimal for going viral and getting lots of views and attracting more of an audience to your page. And like I said, if you do that, plus your branding is on point, you're going to convert those viewers into followers, which is really key. And then lastly is going to be identifying a sub-niche / unique angle and doubling down. All right, because like we saw when reviewing a few pages, a lot of them were posting very general content with like way too many categories, whether it was like boxers and influencers and, gurus and all these different and like, lifestyle stuff. There was way too much going on at the same time. There's lots of pages out there that don't know what they're doing who are just posting general content like that, right? So it makes it so much harder for you to stand out and get that momentum and, you know, actually attract an audience, giving people a reason to follow you, right? So when you sort of sub niche, you find a unique angle, you see something that's more specific with your page, you could attract a more sort of specific type of viewer. Then it allows you to stand out from the crowd and all the competition and actually gives people a reason to follow you. And that's going to sort of fuel your growth. All right. Once you get to a bigger point with, you know, a few 100,000 followers, then it becomes less important to, you know, sub niche since you already have such a huge audience to begin with. Right? But especially if you're starting from like the smaller numbers, like from scratch or from a few hundred or a few thousand followers, sub-niching is key. And it's going to be the difference between whether you succeed or you fail. Okay? So here are the key takeaways from this video and from reviewing these pages. And I promise and guarantee that if you implement and apply what we've learned from these reviews and the feedback that I've given, and you apply it to your page, that you're going to skyrocket and take off and do really, really well. All right? So hopefully this helped here. So yeah, hopefully this breakdown gave you some valuable insights into what works, what doesn't, and what you could fix in your own theme page. If you found this video helpful, drop a like, subscribe for more, and also drop a comment with the biggest struggle that you're facing right now with your theme page, and I'll be replying to it. Also, if scaling your theme page is a priority for you and you want to make some serious money with it, I've put together something that might help. I don't take on just anyone, but if you want a clear, proven strategy to help you grow and monetize the right way, hit the link in the description to apply and we'll see if it's the right fit for you. But yeah, that's it for today, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.